Hi, this is Jackie Henry from RE/MAX Desert Showcase and Demystifying Real Estate. And the video you're about to watch is so great. It went on for so long with this appraiser giving us so much information, more information than I can even tell you. So stay tuned. It's going to be in two parts because it does get cut off at the end, and we have cut it into two parts. It's wonderful information. I'm sure if you're interested in how an appraiser comes up with the amount of money your house is worth, this is worth watching. Stay tuned, and I'll see you on the other side.
Good morning, YouTube.
Buongiorno, everybody. Buongiorno. Welcome to
Demystifying Real Estate.
I'm Jackie Henry from RE/MAX Desert Showcase.
And I'm Steve Valley with Fairway Independent Mortgage.
And we are here today with James
Hazlett.
I can never remember how to say that.
She's been practicing all morning.
All morning, and I still mess it up. And he is an appraiser who's going to answer some questions for us today. And what company are you with?
I'm with Arizona Real Estate and Appraisal.
Awesome.
So the first question, I hope I can take
Jump
the lead
right
here.
in. Take it away.
I would like to know, I've heard the terms marketability and market value. Can you tell us what the difference between those are?
Yeah, there's things in the home that when you look at, you can say that has a lot of marketability. We often confuse that with, like, say, curb appeal.
Oh, okay.
So when you have a house that has that curb appeal, it has marketability, that may or may not translate to market value. It may not be something that we can extract.
So marketability, you're saying things that attract somebody to a home.
Correct.
So they walk in and they
Luscious
say,
green.
oh, I love this kitchen.
Luscious green grass, well manicured hedges,
Okay.
big tree out front, fresh two-tone paint, or
Like a shade tree.
That's right.
Shade tree would be appealing, but it wouldn't necessarily add value.
that's right.
Okay.
So those are things where buyers, we all know buyers would attract a house, say that's a really nice house,
Right.
but it may not bring market value.
Okay.
So that's where the market value. Now you can have enough items, newer paint, some other smaller things that collectively together can raise its to a higher market value.
Okay.
Raise it up in the scale.
Okay. And is there any set sort of threshold for number of those things, or does it kind of depend on the
It's
value
what you
of the house?
it's what you can extract in the market, because it could change between market to market.
Okay.
What you find in Maryvale would be totally different than what you would find in North Scottsdale. So you could have something in marketability in Maryvale that may not have market value.
For
Like a
example, like
Like a garage?
Or let's say access from the alley.
Oh, okay.
That may be highly marketable in Maryvale.
yes.
Oh,
But
okay.
but you may not be able to extract that to say what's the market value of that. To the buyer, may say, I really like this house because of X, but it just doesn't carry any weight. Just not able to extract a dollar amount to that
Okay.
item.
Okay.
Well, that's good to know. What other items, like granite countertops? I mean, let's say we're in Maryvale and this seller went crazy and upgraded his house. Now, nothing else around there has these kind of upgrades. What kind of bump will that help them with?
Well,
I mean, I know you can't give us a dollar amount, but it's...
no, but you got to take a step back and say, if you're in a market and let's go out of Maryvale and let's just say Surprise.
Okay.
And this house has just everything done to it. They've upgraded the granite to not just granite, but a high level of granite.
Right.
They redid the cabinetry to the exquisite cabinetry you would see in Arcadia. And if you get enough of those things, you almost kind of start saying, well, it may not return value. It may be what's called an over improvement.
Okay.
And so if
I've actually seen that, yes.
and when it's over improved, you don't get value.
Oh.
So at
You
some,
may not
point,
be able to.
at some point the value is almost capped? Is that kind of what you're saying?
At some point, you got to say the market's not willing to bear it, and it's we always hear about supply and demand. In real estate, it's demand and supply. If people are demanding it, people will supply it, and if the market's out there demanding for those items in that market, people would be supplying it. And so you could talk about what's called value and use. And when you're doing those things in your home, it's because it's value to you as you use it. It may not return market value. And everything is case specific. You might find another house that has those items, it just haven't sold. And so sometimes it takes a lot of research to say, can I prove that this wasn't over improved, or is it just not out there?
So it's kind of like putting really shiny rims on a Honda.
Yes. You can put $2,000 of tires and rims on a $2,000 car. It's just not working.
Okay.
So you go to trade it in, you're still only going to get your $2,000.
Yeah, I mean,
basically going to
the
say.
book value is still not going to change.
Right. But you might have somebody that wants to pay the difference because of those rims. So then that's when they have to come out of pocket for that difference in appraisal. That's when we run into those.
You know, talking about cars, this is a great analogy. Like I said, there's a lot of analogies. So a lot of time in the housing market is like taking a 16-year-old young kid to the car lot. So who is the salesperson really going to talk to? Are they going to try to sell to the 16-year-old kid, or are they going to sell it to mom and dad who's got the money?
Mom and dad, they want it to be dependable.
Yeah. Same thing in real estate, where we have a buyer and seller that really want this house because it's got that grand, it's got all that nice thing.
Right.
But it's the lender that's got the money. And the lender's going to say, is the asset that we're paying, is it secure?
Yeah.
And so sometimes
if we have to foreclose, can we get our money back?
That's right.
Okay.
And so a lot of times buyers are very emotional, and especially first-time buyers.
You think?
They've never purchased a home.
I have never run into that once, not once. No, I'm totally kidding.
But that's the role.
It'll happen today, I
It'll
promise.
happen today.
But that's the role of the appraisers, to make sure that we're not talking to the 16-year-old kid that just wants it.
Right.
But is the person actually writing the check, or is their money secure?
So the lender's money is secure. So okay, so
Yeah, and I can say that's kind of the way the lenders are always going to look at. They look at worst case scenario. If we have to foreclose, what are the repercussions and what can we do?
I gotcha.
How can we mitigate our losses?
Yeah, exactly. How can we mitigate our losses?
I gotcha. So what happens then if and I lost my train of thought completely here. So I know what I was going to. So what happens is when it's slightly, well, you can't quite get to the number. Let's say we were talking earlier about the number. Let's say we'll use the 219.9, and it's just slightly underneath that. And I mean slightly. You're at like $1,000 difference. What, can you glean things out of the house, or is it just going to come in $1,000 less?
You know, unfortunately, sometimes it's just $1,000 less.
Okay.
There's often, but the process, when we get down in an appraisal report, and you've probably seen a lot of them, it's broken down. You start talking about the subject. You start talking about what is its legality, what is this site area, what is the neighborhood area, and it channels down. Then you get to the sales grid, and then you get to the reconciliation. So it's like a funnel. The appraisal report is very broad from the very first page and gets channeled down further and further and further.
Right.
Get to the sales grid, we come down to a value, and then we have reconciliation. And that's when as an appraiser, a lot of good appraisers will start calling each other and say, hey, I'm having trouble. I'm just a little bit off here. I don't know if I can support this contract. Let me back up. I don't know if the market's supporting this contract. Not that I support it.
Right.
I'm not finding support out of the market. So I may contact the agent. The agents may say, well, did you know that I had a brand new air conditioner? That may have been something I missed. And so we're all human. And
brand new roof.
Got a brand new roof, or maybe the roof is 5 years old, and I start looking at all my comps and say, all my comps really have older roofs. And that might be just enough to bridge that.
Wow, okay, that's really good. Yeah.
So it really comes down to, when you get down to reconciliation, I need to go back and do my research. I need to go back and make sure I have all the information, make sure that I have contacted all my comparables, and make sure that the concessions are right, make sure what I'm looking at is discoverable. Now that's a real estate term, is that all the items need to be discoverable. Can't have hidden information out there.
Right.
And so a lot of times when you get right down to that very fine, that 1%, 0.5%, 2% is really where the work comes in. And that's where you really got to make sure that you're either consulting with another appraiser, say, am I missing something? Is there something I should look at? Should I talk to the agents? And sometimes it's $1,000 off.
Right.
Sometimes it's because I was the pencil sharper than the eye. And so sometimes the numbers get to be too finite, and maybe I need to back up and say, maybe my site adjustments, or maybe my GLA adjustments aren't as accurate as I thought they were.
Okay, well that's really good information. What is GLA?
Gross living area. So gross living area, and this is a topic that
That's why I have her.
gross living area, So, like if you have a basement,
Okay.
that is gross living area, but I have to separate it because it's below grade. So those are requirements set by lenders, and not necessarily lenders, but by Fannie Mae, your GSEs, that dictate what we have to do. Enclosures, you see them a lot in the West Valley, and so enclosures you have to look at, say, is it heated and vented?
Right,
Is
right.
it step down? Is it at grade or above grade? Now, at grade is like your patio is at grade. Your house is above grade because it has a stem wall and it's raised up. That's
Right.
why you had that little 3 or 4 inch step.
Right.
And so when you take, so enclosures could be questionable on GLA. Is it GLA or is it just a contributable item?
Okay, because I've had that happen, so that's what I'm glad you brought that up. Where it was a step down living room add-on, which became their living room, and there was a vent, but the venting wasn't adequate for the room.
Okay.
So it became a point of
Or they have a
contention.
window AC.
Or they have a window AC. That's good. I've seen that. They throw it in there because they don't know to put ducting, or they can't put ducting because they didn't put
Because it has to be attached to central air and heating, right?
Right.
Okay, so that's good to know.
Well, they don't have to be. That's kind of up to the, I don't want to say the discretion of the appraiser, but you have to look at it and say, does it flow with the house? Is it well integrated? Is it usable?
Okay.
Is it just an enclosed patio, more of an Arizona? Does it look and feel more like an Arizona room, or does it feel more like a family room?
Okay.
Is it more usable? And one of the big terms comes up is, does it have a permit? So,
Oh, good question.
and so we see this a lot. And my time on the appraisal board, we made it very clear that if it doesn't have a permit, doesn't mean it doesn't have market value. And there's some appraisers out there, unfortunately, that will just equate no permit, no value. That's not the definition of market value. Would the typical market pay more for that house for having that enclosure or that addition?
Right.
And so you have to really be careful to say it's marketable. And is it some city that's common everywhere.
Right. Exactly.
And so sometimes it's not a matter if you have a permit or not. It's a matter of,
Okay, so that was part 1, and that's exactly where it broke off. The camera just stopped recording. So we're going to set it up for part 2. You stay tuned. Look forward coming up in the day or so. We have to edit it, put it back together so it looks nice and neat for you. But I hope you enjoyed part 1. Give us a call if you have any questions about any real estate needs. And don't forget to subscribe to our subscribe button and like us on Facebook. My phone number is 623-910-7249. I will answer any of your questions. Thanks so much. Hope you're having a great day.